The world is so crazy. You need something to relax. Isn't that the job of a comedian? Because comedians don't give you an answer. We can't solve any issue. We can at least reduce some pressure out of it. Laughing is a basic thing, like a kid either laughs or cries, as a baby. So we choose to make you laugh.
Hello, Clever Habits Tribe, and welcome back to Season 7. This is Episode 5. We're having our second comedian today, but our first Indian. So we're welcoming today with us Yogesh Gawas. He's actually originally from Maharashtra, India, which is on the west side of India. But now he lives in Germany, and he's done stand-up in his hometown language of Marathi, English, and German. So, I have to interview this guy. Hi, Yogesh. How are you?
Hi, Gaby. Wow. Number one, you pronounce all the things correctly. Yeah, Maharashtra was correct, Marathi was correct, and my name was correct. Super.
Well, thank you. I did a lot of research to do that correctly. It's pretty amazing because, as I said, you have performed in German. So that's like another level beyond basic German, past business German to being funny in German. So how did you reach that level?
In general, I'll start from my language and then to English and then to German. The basic motivation that if I am funny with my friends, can I be funny on stage? If I'm on stage funny on my language, can I be funny in English? And if I'm funny in English, can I be funny also in Deutsch? Stand-up comedy is a funny guy telling jokes. If you're funny inside, then any language should be okay for you.
Yeah, that's true. But when I think about it, I really like the post that you put in May 2023 on your Instagram, where you said it gives more satisfaction when all goes well when you do it in German. And it breaks stereotypes. I was surprised you were saying it doesn't break stereotypes of you speaking German. It breaks the stereotype that Germans don't laugh. I was surprised you went with that.
I'll be honest, that I had this also notion that, German people are very strict. They don't laugh on jokes. And I even got from some fellow comedians the same comment, bro, you're trying, but, come with like zero expectation. And it was not the case at all. That actually kind of solidified again my basic thinking. If you're funny, then you're funny in any language. My first German also went pretty well. Like I was on stage for 6 minutes and almost 4.5 minutes people were laughing. I don't know the exact episode, but I watched Big Bang Theory and Sheldon says this, oh, German, that's a hard crowd to crack. And maybe somehow that's stuck in your head. Eventually now I don't believe. Like if the jokes are good, they laugh. Even I have bombed, there were cases where I couldn't perform well, but that's just depends upon your jokes, your performance. Nothing to do with German people or anything.
Yeah, Germans have a different sense of humor. I would say Northern Germans have more of like a British dry humor. And Southern German, it seems like they laugh at everything.
I haven't come across this level of deep analysis. But maybe I'll keep this thought, yeah? I'll check. I live in Mannheim, so mostly I perform in this region, like Frankfurt, Mannheim, Heidelberg, Stuttgart. So it is pretty much southern. People like jokes which are slightly related to facts.
Yeah, it's a bit harder to describe observational comedy things in another language. But there are a few German comedians that do that, but I don't know, maybe you'll bring a different style to it because when I watch them, it might be just a cultural difference. It's not funny for me.
Yeah, okay, but good thing that you use the word that it's not funny for me. For me also, many things are not funny, but people laugh around me. That means it is funny, it's just not funny for me. But one of my comedian friends said to me that in German comedy, even if you're correct, factually correct, that's enough for German people to make them smile. For example, how the garbage disposal has 10 different type of garbage disposal. And in there are also details. That's not even a joke, even if I just say this, people laugh at that. So even small things like German long words, even if I just say on stage, people laugh at that.
And you blew up with a joke like that this January 2024. That's actually how I found you, where you were saying, yeah, German's not hard. And then you list all of the different grammatical parts of German. And I was like, yeah. You said, I know all of them, but I don't know how to use them. I'm like, I can relate.
German is hard, that's a stereotype. I personally, I don't feel it now. Of course, in few senses, yes. But I use that feeling that, okay, German is hard. Then I use that feeling. I feel it's wrong. But at the end of the day, if I'm on stage, I have to make people laugh. I have stopped watching now memes on German language, which make fun of German language, because I felt like, previously there was some kind of mental block that, it's a different language, make fun of it. So once that mental block is gone, now I feel much more connected to German language, especially with comedy. Now I have a bigger motivation to learn German language, to speak correctly, so that people shouldn't laugh on my wrong German or my wrong pronunciation of words, but they should rather laugh on my jokes.
I'm actually glad that you said that, because I also stopped watching the memes recently. It is like a block where you're like, this language, it's us versus them mentality.
Exactly.
So when you stop, you realize, okay, if I learn this language, this just becomes another facet of my personality. It's a different way of looking at it. I'm glad that you said that. As you mentioned in that post, again, in May 2023, you have to have that intrinsic motivation. So can you explain, what does that mean to have internal motivation? How does that affect how you practice?
I was doing an internship and master thesis. So my boss, he couldn't speak English that much. So I had to learn German so as to communicate with him. So that was again external pressure. Then again, for my job, I had to speak with people on floor, on job, shop floor. So I had to learn German. So that was still an external pressure. Now for comedy, it's like I want something from inside. Like I genuinely want that I should speak good German so that people should laugh on my jokes and not on anything else. So I'm taking extra effort. So now even all my Netflix, everything I watch in German. I have podcasts which I listen in German. So I've changed now these things because I want to be good, and that's not something someone else is telling. So I have an internal motivation for that. If you remove this mental block, okay, someone is telling me I have to do it because someone is telling me I want to do it. It's not that I have to, I want to do it.
Can you suggest some shows or podcasts? Because I'm also looking.
I watch, easy German. For example, this headphone. So they will tell just like headphones, and then they will speak about headphones and then English translation. They don't make any like special jokes or something. Very simple. I started with them. So easy German is one. Then there is one guy, he's from Munich and he's not even a teacher. He teaches for free on YouTube. Kedar, he's also an Indian guy. He lives in Munich and he does this for free. Maybe it's again my kind of learning technique where I would like to learn directly, okay, this is how it is. I had watched many, Bollywood movies. So I'd watch all the movies in India. Okay. Now I watch all those movies in German. There are movies which I'd watched like many times. So I knew like what this character is going to say. And that now helps me. Okay. So that means that word. Okay.
I want to get to now, how does this mechanical engineer from India living in Germany go from the funny guy at a dinner party to the funny guy on stage that's getting paid to tell jokes? How in the world did that happen?
I have to give credit to German government for this because they brought this 9 euro ticket. 9 euro ticket with which you can travel anywhere. Within friends, I used to make joke, look at his shirt, look what he did, blah, blah, blah. Then I tried once in front of just 4 or 5 friends and they laughed. Then I tried once in another language from India, Hindi. Few people laughed. It used to happen like after 3 months. When this 9 euro ticket came, I was just somehow from Instagram, I came across this English comedy Stuttgart and I saw they have an open mic. So I contacted them. They gave me 5 minutes. I'll just go there. Let's see what happens. So I started looking for in this area, Mannheim, Heidelberg, who's doing Frankfurt. So in Frankfurt, there are almost at least 4 times in a week, you have open mics where you can go and perform. And luckily, I got a job there. I go to like work there, then do one spot and come back, something like this. So it started with just let's see what is going to happen. And then eventually, once you get this laugh, you are important at least for 5 minutes. That's how then it goes more and more. And then you start learning. Also, you start meeting interesting people. Like I had friends when I was studying. Then during my work, there was nothing. Like I couldn't make friends. And now because of comedy, I have again friends. Most of the English comedians, they are not from Germany. They are from around the world. And then you get to listen to the same stories which I also experience. And it's funny to see that somehow we live at different places in different surroundings, but few things became common. One of my comedian friend from Ghana, so he was telling a story about how okay, I cannot tell the joke, of course, it's his joke, but he was telling that how a brand name and a cheap brand name came into his household, the same jacket kind of thing. And I was like, oh my god, this kind of same thing happens also in India, and then you kind of show, okay, I have, this is the real one, that is the fake one, what you see on TV. We live at different places, but few things remain common.
Yeah, it's nice to see the solidarity, how close the comedians are. They're competitive, but they also seem to help each other a lot. Even the big names, they're always posting each other's things, and the local comedians are also doing that for each other. So it's nice that you all are there for each other.
That is true, that we are competitive. Everybody wants, when I'm on stage, like, people should only laugh. But once you're off stage, then your job is done. Like, you cannot do anything. The only thing you can do is, appreciate, learn from other people, pay 10-15 euros, and I get to see this 2 hours for free.
Yeah, that is a nice perk. I wanted to ask because there are some comedians that are not online. They remain the best kept secret of Frankfurt or Stuttgart or wherever they're performing. So how do you actually get someone to record your set, and then how do you decide what to post?
We don't know, like, for example, one of my video gets 1 million views and other not even 1,000 views. So we are all checking, like, okay, this works, this doesn't work. For example, again, the same thing, the German language thing, like, all my other videos had like normal views, 3-4 thousand. The one video which you mentioned that got like 1 million views, then I posted another one about German language, but not like speaking, but writing. So now it is getting more views. It's now at, I think, 15,000 views. So that can become a pattern. And then I thought, okay, this is the pattern. Then I put one more thing on German language, but that didn't work. There are comedians who do not post on Instagram, but they are absolutely hilarious. It depends, like, how you want to play. Some people are there who say that, I'll be in comedy 3-5 years. Once I'm like absolutely good, then only I'll start posting. I am like, let me post it and let me get also feedback. You just have 1.5 minute to put it on internet. And can you also engage people in that 1.5 minute? That's my motivation. And then I'll also bring that into real life comedy club.
Yeah, I guess it depends. Different people have different views of it. I know in the old days when people like Jerry Seinfeld or other people like that started, you would perform in different comedy clubs almost every night, and then maybe a scout would see you. They would ask you to be on a late night show, and then you would have a bigger audience that night on TV. You might get invited to bigger gigs, but I think now with social media, it has changed a bit. We want to see more of your journey. So I like that you're sharing your journey, Yogesh, even sometimes where you post a joke and at the beginning it looks like, oh no, he's gonna bomb, but then by the middle, then people start laughing.
When I post something, I keep in my mind, okay, it will get maybe 1,000 views and 50 likes. If I want like paid shows, then people do look at your profile and they say, okay, you just have 500 followers. Okay, I don't know. That's such a weird way. I've known so many comedians who are so hilarious, like so funny, but just because they don't post, they don't get paid gigs. So you have to play that game. End of the day, like, as a comedian, that's how I see as of now, that we want attention. We want attention, but we give you this. And the same thing is also on the internet. So in that 1.5 minute, if I get that attention, okay. What I'm trying now to do is not putting so much effort on getting those views. For example, that video got 1 million views and so many likes. Doesn't give me that real feeling when I'm on stage, when 20 people, 30 people, 100 people looking at me and laughing. So that feeling is much, much more satisfying than the likes.
Yeah, I agree. I've even noticed people our age and younger, as you said, with the barter system, they're not even having something come back in. They're turning off the like counter, they're turning off the comment section, and they're just posting what they want to say. That's a new trend. I think I like it because it's giving without any expectation. And you can
Yeah,
see the like count if you want to personally see it, but I don't know. I will see if that takes off and goes mainstream, but it's interesting.
exactly.
But there's a dark side of this giving. Even when I was doing research on you today, there were some hecklers in the comments. So how do you deal with people who are just being rude online and offline?
Good question. Offline, there are no hecklers. People get like very courageous online when you can't see their face. Online, I like, because if someone writes something, you're not funny, try to be funny next time, I can come up with best comeback. I'll take 1 hour and I'll think, or even I'll ask Chat GPT what I should write. And I'll reply him. That's easy. The main thing is if I'm on stage and if someone is doing something. That's the best thing about comedy, like you don't need to tell that it's good or not. Like if you don't laugh, I get it. Okay, I'm not funny. If you laugh, okay, this joke is working. If something happens also, then it depends upon the comedian, how you use it. Na? Either you take it, yeah, okay, I'm not funny. Let me be funny next time. Do you want to try? You can give directly to mic to him or her. People are generally nicer offline.
Because they realize that you have to have a lot of courage to get in front of other people and tell them a joke that might not work. Are you more of like an ad lib comedian, or do you script it and then try to memorize?
Now my pattern is that I have flow of what topics I want to speak, and then I have also like spaces for people interaction. If I'm hosting, then nothing. Then I directly talk with people. If I'm performing, then proper sequence.
All right. And then when you're performing, do you compare the success, quote unquote, of each set to start making changes, or how do you do that?
If people laugh, then it's a good joke. Then you take it to some other audience. That's it. And then you try to add like tags. Tags means like one joke worked, you try to tag one more joke to it. You try to make a sequence out of it. The best thing is my wife, she is very supportive of this. Nah? So before going, I talk with her, I perform for her, and she has become now like very bad critic. Like she is very critical of my joke. But it's interesting. Like we talked before, we also discussed like what topic can be relatable, what can be the jokes on that.
It does help to have a very supportive partner. My husband helps me with my videos too. I'm like, what do you think of this so far? He's like, yeah, this part is a little bit too long.
And I think it's the same thing is happening with you, because after living with you, he also know a little bit about video editing and general YouTube. So he's also a third party, like a viewer, but also someone who knows a little bit about video thing.
Yeah, it's good. So to all the friends and family members out there helping creatives not get their head too big, thank you. Now, Yogesh, where do you see this going? Is this like going to continue to be a hobby? Do you want it to replace your day job? What do you want to do with comedy moving forward?
I was actually thinking how many times I've been on stage and how many minutes it would be. Just 30 hours where I was on stage, because you get 7 to 8 minutes. I have video, at least by evidence. I have 109 videos where I was on stage for various length of time. I think I would need 2 more years where I can say that, okay, I have 1 hour like solid material, and then I can go on stage and do my own thing. So as of now, to answer the question, as of now, I'm not thinking that this might be a full-time thing.
But yeah, that's a very honest and realistic answer. And for some of you, they're thinking like, oh, he's being kind of safe. Not really. If you're thinking about what Yogesh has done, he has 30 hours of material, and I'm sure that 30 hours, each of those sets had at least an hour or two of prep, at least, behind it. But many of the main names in comedy that we know and love now, comedy wasn't their day job at the beginning. Jerry Seinfeld did comedy in different clubs at night, but his job during the day in 1970s New York was knocking down walls in old buildings.
Every day, you can be on stage in the US. Here, I go on stage maybe once or twice, depends, but once or twice a week. So that also plays how much time you put into it, how much time you are connected to it, how much time you stay into that environment. Not just when you are performing, when I'm also watching other comedians, this age group is laughing, but this age group not. So that is also one learning which you get from the environment. So how much time you stay in that environment, that also matters.
The last thing I would add, a little bit of the devil's advocate here, because there might be some people watching this be like, the world is so crazy. Why are we wasting time laughing? I disagree, but how do you feel about it?
That's the main motivation. The world is so crazy. You need something to relax. Isn't that the job of a comedian? Because comedians don't give you an answer. We can't solve any issue. We can at least reduce some pressure out of it. Laughing is a basic thing. Like a kid either laughs or cries, as a baby. So we choose to make you laugh.
I gotta laugh to keep from crying.
You will be doing at least one thing at a time. So either laugh
or you're laughing so hard that you are crying.
You might cry.
This was a great conversation, Yogesh. So if someone wants to follow you online, I know you're on Instagram and TikTok as Yogi's Comedy. Is there anywhere else that they can get in touch with you?
Oh no, as of now, I'm just concentrating these two things.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm enjoying it. I know sometimes when I'm having a rough day, I'll open and be like, oh, Yogesh has a new video. Let me see. And then it makes my day better. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. And it's good to talk, like many people think, stand up. You just go on stage and do some blah, 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 just talk with people and people will laugh. It's not. It's good that you went through and you also know because you took name like Jerry Seinfeld. So you know things, what they did. So you know that comedy is not like literally just going and blah, blah, blah. You need some preparation. You need few things, few skills, and then it works. So it was a nice conversation.
Yeah, I feel like we need to have more respect for the stand-up comedians because people will respect and almost bow down to people who have had like a presentation on like Nordic Business Forum. That's public speaking too, yes. But those people are getting paid, number one, to talk, and that's their job, like their day job that they're speaking about. Some comedians like you'll get their comedy is not their day job. Sometimes it's volunteering, and they're still doing all the behind-the-scenes work. So I feel like that deserves more respect. And thank you, Clever Hybrid Tribe, for staying with us all the way to the end. If you've been thinking about trying something, even if it's like a side thing from your day job, this is your call to go ahead and try it out, see what happens. Until next time, this is GabyV for Clever Hybrids. We'll see you in the next one.